I, 42F, found out my husband, 47M, of 20 years plus was cheating and we owe a lot of money. What to do? I am a very shy person, so I have only lurked. It's taking me a lot to even post this. My best friend is unreliable. She flip-flops all the time. I really don't know what to do anymore. This happened a few months ago, so I'm still recollecting the details. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, but here goes. I recently found out he was cheating on me when I was at our office paying off bills, and I was looking through the bank accounts and I saw a weird charge for a deposit on an apartment in another city. So I dug deeper through the credit card statements and I saw a bunch of really ridiculous charges. Everything from strip clubs to escort bar charges and $10K necklaces and other apartments. Overall, he spent at least $200K on these girls in the last 12 months. I confronted him and he denied and said the apartment was for his friend. But it got to the point where the evidence was so substantial that he admits it, and he said he was really sorry and said his heart was hurting a lot and asked for forgiveness. Some background info. I married this man when I was 19, we had kids and I never went to college. In the earlier days, I worked as a bank teller and church billing clerk but spent most of my life as a mom and wife supporting him. I have no real skill sets, I feel like. We have 3 kids with 2 in college and 1 as a senior in high school. We started off with nothing like most people and lived really humble and supported each other through a recession back in 2009. After we got past hard times, we started a construction business together with over 10 employees for the past 10 years under my name because his credit was really bad. But he does most of the work and I mostly just fill out the loans and pay the bills. He pays me $144K a year, in which I use it to pay for my kids' expenses and have about $35K left over for my personal expense. He pays himself around $300K and pays for some stuff as well. The last 5 years, we have lived really well. I even got into a habit of buying designer bags and stuff. We have nice cars and everything. Life was really good financially. He started traveling more and going on camping and fishing trips with the boys, and I would go on trips to see my female friends. However, I still make it a priority to please him in bed about once a week because I know that was really important to him. So anyways, back to him asking for forgiveness. I was really hurt that he brought these girls a $10K Van Cleef necklace and Chanel bags and apartment. But he swears on our kids that he never had sex with any of these girls and he just wanted someone to talk to. I believe him and try couples therapy, but they were really negative and told me to leave him and saying that he was manipulative and to go to a lawyer and get stuff done and leave him. But the lawyer takes like 2 months to draw the paper and we have like $600K in IRS debt, company loans and other stuff that's under my name. I have no real skills and I feel like I wouldn't be able to survive in this world without him. Nor will our kids because they lived a really luxury life the past few years as well. What to do? I know there's probably tons and tons of details I am leaving out, so feel free to ask if you guys need more context. Update 1. WTF, do you mean, we owe a lot of money? So we have a construction company, and we owe about 2-3 years of IRS taxes. We also have a mortgage that's under my name and some company loans that we took out under name as well because I am the owner of our company since he has very bad credit. Update 2. I saw a lot of comments saying he might have sex with these women, but I have no real proof. He has looked me in the eyes and swear on our children's that he didn't have sex with any of the girls. He knows I am religious and wouldn't swear on the kids if he didn't mean it. Update 3. In response to Voodoo Duck and others about tax attorney and so forth, we have a tax attorney guy already. He is trying to help extend the deadline on the IRS taxes. I am not sure how much it would help if there were fraud on the company because it's under my name. I don't think he's with any of the girls anymore. He admit that he was dating this girl for 6 months from like Sept to March because he had gotten her an apartment and also a BMX X5 for her Christmas gift, but apparently, she left and ran away overseas. He did end up getting a second apartment and dated a second girl, but he told me neither was serious and he ended up kicking the second girl out like 2 months after I found out because I forced him. Update number 4. I appreciate the comments, both good and bad. I know there is a 50-50 chance he might have sex with these girls, but there's no way for me to know for sure 100%. Like yes, I looked through his phone and saw that he texted a lot of sex workers from these sites from all different ethnicity of girls, but I have no proof and I kinda believe him because I made sure to take care of him like once a week unless it was during my period. Also, he has been asking me not to divorce and begging for us to work it out non-stop. I don't know why he would do that. I feel like he's really trying. Update number 5. I think I can see that there's high chance that he has sex with them. Even though he sounds bad right now, he told me that he only started doing this last year. Before this, he was really good to me. We have been married for 20+ years, we have kids. When we first met, my parents was in debt and he helped us out. He used to work really hard for the sake of the family. He was a decent human being to me. I swear. This is a lot for me to deal with. So if you guys tell me to leave him, please let me know how I can survive. Update number 6. I know it's hard for you guys to believe, but yes, I still really care about him. It's not something I can change because we have been together for a really long time and we raised 3 kids together. I used to be a really demanding person and he took a lot of it for me back then. I did move out of the house and got my own apartment following lawyers' advice. I still make an effort to see my kids and he comes to see me every week. Last month, when I went home, he was asleep past 11 a.m. and I went through his book bag and found a second phone and pills. No label. He told me that he was addicted to Adderall and Coke and that he takes 100 mg every 2 hours because he needs to take it for work and to focus, otherwise, he will think of the bad things he did to me. He says he buys it on the street. I felt really bad for him because he's still working hard and trying to keep the company running and he has to resort to drugs to do it and it's all my fault. So, I did however try to work things out and gave 100% of myself after I found out about his addiction because I felt bad, but now I'm just having doubts and wondering if this is what I want or need to do. And his B-day is next week. Update number 7. Sorry, let me clarify some stuff. I am sorry if you feel like I am trying to defend him. I am trying to give as much detail as possible and get better point of view from different people. I just wish there was a way out for me to not hurt anyone and for him to not want to ruin the business. His credit has also completely recovered now and it's above 680 and he said that he can get a personal loan up to $2 million. We have been through a lot together. I was molested by my sister's husband when I was younger, and he was there for me. He confronted that jerk and got me through it. He definitely had sex with them. He lied about the expenses and apparent being for his best friend until the evidence was too much, then he admitted it. It's called trickle truth. Please don't tell me you are this naive. He had sex with them, I promise you. Oh come on. Don't be this dumb. He's absolutely having sex with them, many more than you know about, and he has the company in your name so that the debt is all in your name. He's playing you for a fool and you are eating it up. That much debt is insane and not at all normal, no matter what business you're in. Go back to therapy and stay in it. Of course he had sex. You need to sue and divorce the lying thieving sob for everything he's got. You know he's lying because you caught him out. Update: there's no fool like an old fool. Dude. This is a train wreck. He did have sex with those women. All of them. He needs to stay away from all money. You guys need to hire a money manager to manage and monitor all expenses and to develop a plan to get you guys out of debt. He needs to go to Sex Addicts Anonymous. You guys are both screws in the head. And it seems like you're made for each other. My 38M wife, 37M, can't decide whether to end our 10-year marriage. My 38M wife, 37F, have been going through a turbulent period in our marriage, and I could use some advice. Some background. We've been together 16 years and married 5. About 7 years ago, my wife had a brief affair with her boss. She hid it at first, then told me they just kissed, then said they slept together 3 times. We went to couples therapy for a few months, and I moved out of our 1BR apt. I loved her immensely, but I told her I didn't want to be with someone who didn't want to be with me. She eventually realized she wanted to be with me, and we reconciled. We moved closer to family, had a daughter, now 5 and bought a house. She kept her same job when we moved, which became fully remote, and still reported to the same boss until fairly recently. She now reports to someone else, but the old boss is now her boss's boss, and she still interacts with him regularly, albeit almost 100% remotely minus a once-per-year retreat. Up until very recently, she said her return to Saturn moment had passed, and she hasn't felt anything for him. A few months ago, she went to a conference and saw her old boss. After a few drinks, he confessed he still had feelings for her, despite having a fiancé, and wished they could start over. My wife basically freaked out and left, but it apparently ignited something in her she didn't think was still there. She said she does have feelings for him but isn't sure if it's just filling some void. She's had mild depression and is pretty insecure. She's been very honest with me about all this, and I believe she hasn't done anything physical. But I can't help feeling extremely frustrated and hurt. My wife's comments feel almost scripted from a bad 90s romantic comedy. I know it may seem strange, but I have equal feelings of love for you and wanting something different. My wife is now in therapy to help her process all these conflicting emotions. I've essentially told her that I'm fine waiting for her to figure her stuff out, but that I will divorce her if I'm cheated on again. I've also said that she needs to seriously consider leaving her employer if she wants to stay with me. I've been patient for years about it because the job is very flexible, she's fully remote minus periodic travel, pays well, and seemed to be past her feelings for him. But this dude isn't leaving this employer anytime soon, and he obviously has zero issue fucking with my wife's head. At this point, I'm just waiting for her to figure out what she wants out of life. She's told me that, in a perfect storm situation, she could see herself potentially cheating on me again. She admits she's more selfish than me. I will continue to stand my ground about fidelity, but I've started becoming numb to it all to protect myself. I don't really know what to do at this point other than wait for her to figure her shit out, which has been exhausting. I plan to get some therapy myself to help me deal with all this. 7 years ago, we were newly married without kids. We've had our issues, but we've built a beautiful life together that I'm trying desperately to hold on to. Thoughts? I'd leave, sorry. My mental health can only take so much. All this for what? Mild depression and being insecure isn't a reason to cheat. There is no excuse for cheating. She is a liar, and last I checked, being a liar isn't a symptom of depression. I think you can use some therapy too. Don't be her backup plan or a doormat. Put you and your child first. You should go to HR with this and force her boss to leave. This should have been done years ago. Bud, this is fucking ridiculous. I'd be placing a call and send a very public letter to this her company ethics hotline and CEO. Let the chips fall wherever. She is doing you wrong, and this boss is an asshole who just wants another piece. Husband, 30 male, backhanded me, 30 female. So hard that my jaw hurts on the opposite side. So here's the short of it. I, 30 female, had a fight with my husband, 30 male, that got physical. I pushed him away from me and he backhanded me so hard I have a bruise on the side of my face where he hit me, and the opposite jaw hurts bad enough I have a hard time chewing food. I don't have any interest in going to the police. We are both at fault for physicality, even if he did hit me. However, my parents are staying with us and my mom asked where the bruise came from. I told her to ask my husband, then I let my husband know that my mom asked and that I told her to ask him. Now he's mad that my parents are going to hate him and see him as a monster just like me. The way I see it is he's upset that he's having to take responsibility for his actions. This is the second time he's hit me in the face and left a bruise. I lied for him the first time and I'm not doing it again. We are both in the wrong. The fight escalated unnecessarily and both did things that are unacceptable in any relationship, including a marriage. I'm looking for advice on how to help him understand that even if I pushed him, he has to take responsibility for his actions. I've tried to explain that I'm responsible for my actions as well, but because his behavior resulted in a physical bruise and jaw pain that others are asking about, he has to take responsibility with them. I still love him, we both have work to do with our tempers and communication, and we are working on those things, I am at least. I don't want to hear, divorce him. I don't want to hear, call the police. There's a lot of context missing in a post like this. Additional advice on how to help him understand why women are taken more seriously than men when it comes to physical abuse would be helpful. Do plenty of women start fights? Yes. Do their actions have consequences? They should. Are men generally much larger, stronger, etc.? Yes. Do they have a higher chance of inflicting more serious damage because of their larger size? Yes. But it's no different than if a child hits an adult. The child is wrong for hitting, but an adult cannot hit back. At the end of the day, he asked me what he was supposed to do in that situation, and I said walk away. Is there anything else I can recommend? Ultimately, he's responsible for his actions. He doesn't seem to think he should be held as accountable, because I pushed him away from me first, and I don't know how to help him understand that he's still responsible for his reaction, regardless of why he's reacting. On a side note, he thinks that emotional, psychological abuse isn't as bad as physical, and I also don't know how to help him understand that not only is it as bad, but it can also be worse. Too long did not read. I pushed my husband during a fight and he backhanded me so hard it left a bruise and caused jaw pain on the opposite side. He is concerned about having to take responsibility with my parents because they're staying with us and I pushed him first. Leave. Stop making excuses. It will get much worse from here. You have nothing left to try or fight for. Leave. There is no additional context needed. You are in denial of your abusive relationship. Leave. You are trying to save a sinking ship, one that doesn't want to save. Wow, you are a walking excuse for an abuser. You say he will get better, but he's hit you again. You want him to understand. He already knows. Bruises on your face? It's going to get worse and he will get more comfortable abusing you. My wife was told by her counselor she would leave her ex's relationship with help or in a body bag, her choice. I feel confident in giving you the same advice. Good luck. How is a backhand that has left a bruise, an injured jaw and makes it difficult to eat proportionate to a push? Battered wife syndrome? My 38F husband, 43M, refuses to give up his gym girlfriend or even talk about the issue. On Father's Day I noticed my husband texting and smiling with someone, ignoring or not seeing me when I invited him to the table for breakfast. I got closer so he could notice me and saw he was texting an unknown woman. We've been married for 4 years and have a preschooler and a 1-year-old. I didn't bring it up besides asking, "Who is that?" since my mom was in town visiting. When I mentioned it later, I said I didn't know making friends of the opposite sex and not saying anything was okay for us. He didn't volunteer anything but when pressed further mentioned that he'd been working out with her, which I know is 3/4 days a week for 2-3 hours before work most mornings. He ended up admitting he didn't tell me about her because he knew I'd be mad. Moreover, that he'll be working out with whoever he wants. Fast forward several one-sided, vulnerable conversations and 2 months after a lot of feeling sick to my stomach and sleepless nights, I finally laid it out. I didn't give him an ultimatum, I simply told him I can't sleep, that I feel heartbroken and constantly concerned. That if I was doing the same he'd feel awful. And crickets. I asked how long it was going to last and was met with, "There's no sign-up sheet in the gym." I told him I can't imagine continuing our relationship feeling like this and needed to know in words how he felt. He reported feeling the same, that I'm his wife and he loves me. My boundary is unacknowledged and so far, unenforced. It's not that I think he's put his dick in her, yet. It's that he won't budge or say anything knowing I'm hurting. I feel like I'm getting more heartbroken daily. The impulse to check his phone is hard to resist at times. I don't want to leave, but I need more than this lack of response from him. Too long did not read. I'm jealous that my husband spends 8 hours plus a week with another woman at the gym, time we don't have together as parents of young kids. I want to bail from the relationship, but sort of from life. Update. When he left for work this morning, a day later, I told him to think about what I said throughout the week. I appreciate all the support, including the comments that bring up that I may be jealous or have let my body go, or especially that I have been too permissive as a wife. I'm completely open to criticism in my personal arena. FYI. 1. He is bodybuilding, and commuting 40 minutes to get to this gym by work, 30 miles away. 2. He leaves at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to this gym, so confrontation is not a possibility. I can't get childcare at that time, nor do I have a friend that can follow him all the way out there at that hour. Unless I have a volunteer nerd face. 3. So many of you are absolutely right, the lack of response to me is the problem, independent of this poor other woman. I am amazed you lasted this long. You should really love yourself more and not let people treat you like shit. Forget checking phones. Have someone watch your little ones and meet him at the gym one morning. Get a visitor pass, if you don't already have one already. Act casual. Introduce yourself as his wife, in case she doesn't know, and tell him you've decided to join the gym and will try to be working out with him more often. Their reactions will make whatever may be happening obvious. 2-3 hours each day he's at the gym? Unless your husband is a bodybuilder, I'd wager at best he's there 1.52 hours, and that's a stretch. Wonder what he's doing with the other hour. He is obviously and dangerously exploring another opportunity and will continue until an ultimatum and threat is made. Simply leaving with kids will allow him freedom to do what he has been thinking about for months with the gym girl. You can get a free consultation that what you would get from a divorce. Don't mean do it, but it will snap him into reality that he would lose everything if you decide to go through with it. But also have a positive effect in your relationship to express interest in going to the gym with him to get into shape and will improve your love life. Paying for babysitting will be a cheaper version than divorce, obviously, and also reduce his funds to pursue any other girls. Do you have a friend who can sign up to the gym? Send in a scout. That way, you can actually know what they are getting up to when they are, or even if they leave together and go elsewhere. 2–3 hours each time seems like a long time to spend working out, to be honest.